A direct flight from New York City to Los Angeles takes about 6 hours. But the other way, from Los Angeles to New York is actually an hour shorter, about 5 hours. Same distance, yet different time. Why is this? The primary reason is because of what's called tailwind versus headwind. Headwinds are what works against an aircraft because these winds blow against an aircraft's flight path. Tailwinds, on the other hand, work with an aircraft because they blow in the direction of the flight path. And guess in which direction the wind is flowing when flying from New York to Los Angeles? Yes, against you. In a similar way, when we select a career that has limited growth potential with limited income potential, we're essentially trying to fly against a strong headwind. We do our best to succeed, yet we don't get far because the natural trend is against us. On the other hand, if you select a career field that has its own natural tailwind, good growth rate, a lot of future job openings, and potential for income growth, then your effort will be greatly compensated. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 9 best jobs for the future. Ones with strong tailwinds, so you can set yourself up for success. And if you're a bit older like me, it can also be something you consider for your own kids. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise. In order to come up with the following list, I looked at 4 specific criteria. One is comfortable wage. Using data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, I wanted jobs that had a median salary of at least $75,000. Your income needs to be big enough to allow you to meet long-term financial goals. And studies show that in most states, $75,000 is enough to put you in the middle class and allow you to support your family while at the same time achieving your financial goals. Second criteria is the education requirement. There are a lot of good jobs out there that pay good salaries, but require quite a bit of education in order to get there. Think of medical schools for doctors or PhD for researchers. I focused on jobs that didn't have that level of barrier to entry. So all the jobs that I cover here do not require more than a master's degree for entry. Most actually stop at bachelor's. Third criteria is job growth. The world is changing faster than many of us can adapt to, and job growth rate is a great reflection of that. Jobs that were considered great jobs in the past no longer exist. For example, 50 to 60 years ago, American manufacturing was considered a job to get. High-paying factory jobs offered workers with limited education a ticket to the middle class. But today, those jobs are quickly disappearing. For example, assemblers and fabricators boast a strong number of jobs of over 1.7 million today. But it is expected to decline by 5% in the next 10 years. Almost 90,000 in job loss. It's important to select a career field with high job growth potential, or you'll be fighting an uphill battle the rest of your life. The fourth criteria is the actual number of jobs projected. A job might have fast growth potential, but if the pool is too small to start out with, the total number of new jobs might not make the pursuit worthwhile. A good example of this is wind turbine technician. It has a whopping 68% job growth rate, but unfortunately, this only translates to 4,700 new jobs. And this isn't the whole country. The growth rate is exciting, but the pie is too small in my eyes to make it on the list. One interesting thing I observed after completing the list is how most of these competitive jobs fall within just few select industries, most notably healthcare, finance, and technology. Not surprising, given that these are also some of the fastest growing industries as well. All right. Number 1 best job for the future is software developer. 2020 median pay is around $110,000 a year. In order to become a software developer, you typically need a bachelor's degree in computer and information technology or a related field like software engineering. It's expected to have a projected job growth of 22% for the next 10 years. Nice, strong tailwind of growth. As regards to the total number of jobs expected to open up in the next decade, we're expecting close to 500,000 new openings. There are currently close to 1.9 million software developers in the United States right now. So if you had to pick one career based upon the total number of opportunities, this would be it. However, understand that this is a challenging field. Software developers are responsible for designing and writing softwares for computers, tablets, and phones. This YouTube platform was developed by a few very smart software developers who used to work at PayPal. So if you want to become a software developer, know that you'll be spending a lot of time behind the computer screen. It would best serve you if you enjoy working with technology and don't mind solving complex coding problems for hours on end. Currently, the majority of the biggest companies in the United States are technology companies: Apple, Google, Amazon. So if you decide that software developer is for you, I'm confident the sky will be the limit for opportunities to grow and earn a strong income. Next on our list is near and dear to my heart: registered nurse. And I am a proud husband of one. My wife's been a registered nurse for over a decade, and it's been amazing to watch her grow through this amazing occupation. The 2020 median pay is around $78,000 a year. In order to become a registered nurse, you typically need a bachelor's degree in nursing, an associate degree in nursing, or a diploma from an approved nursing program. In addition, RNs must be licensed. It's expected to have a projected job growth of 9% for the next 10 years. Not as big as software developers, but when we look at it in the context of total number of nurses needed, 9% is actually a huge number. There are currently more than 3 million registered nurses in the United States. With a 9% job growth rate for the next decade, this means we'll need close to 300,000 new nurses. Nurses to replace the ones that are retiring, as well as fill brand new positions. With 300,000 new openings, you won't have any trouble finding a job as a registered nurse. But again, this too is a quite demanding career. Registered nurses are responsible for a range of responsibilities, providing and coordinating patient care, educating patients about various health conditions, and providing advice and emotional support to patients and their families. You need a lot of compassion for serving patients, and given that most registered nurses operate within hospital setting, don't be surprised if you're on your feet constantly. But if you like the idea of really serving patients at their most vulnerable times, this could not only be a financially rewarding career, but emotionally as well. Number 3 best jobs for the future is medical and health service managers. They're also commonly known as hospital administrators or clinical managers. 2020 median pay is around $101,000 a year. In order to become a medical and health service manager, you typically need a bachelor's degree. There are also graduate programs that specialize in hospital or healthcare administration. Degrees that focus on both general business management and healthcare are oftentimes looked favorably upon. It is expected to have a projected job growth of 32% for the next 10 years. And with the current total number of jobs around 400,000, it's expected to have close to 140,000 new openings in the next decade. With healthcare needs growing with longer life expectancy, there will be more demand for smart administrators to manage this growing industry. It is a broad and complex role that requires responsibility over planning, directing, and coordinating medical and health services. A healthcare administrator may be asked to manage an entire facility, a specific clinical area, or a department. In order to find success in this career field, one will not only need key business managerial skills like operations and finance, but will also need to be well-versed in healthcare-specific knowledge, such as medical staffing and licensing requirements. If you like the idea of managing complex organizations while supporting frontline healthcare professionals, this might be an ideal career track for you. Number 4 best job for the future is management analyst, also oftentimes called management consultant. 2020 median pay is around $93,000 a year. In order to become a management analyst, you typically need a bachelor's degree, usually in business, economics, or a related field. Some employers prefer to hire candidates who have a master's degree in business administration, an MBA. It is expected to have a projected job growth of 14% for the next 10 years. With slightly more than 900,000 management consultants in the United States, this translates to about 124,000 new consultants for the next decade. Nice strong number if you're interested in this career field. I actually did a short stint as a management consultant while I was in business school, and I admit it is a challenging but rewarding pathway. Your primary responsibility is to recommend ways for organizations to improve their efficiency. You advise company executives on how to make their organization more profitable through reduced cost or increased revenue. And for many consultants who stay in the career field for a long time, they often specialize in specific functions such as cost analysis or inventory, and also specific industries such as healthcare or government. However, one of the major appeals to being a management consultant is the opportunities that opens up for those who want to transition to a more consistent role. As a management consultant, you're being exposed to new companies, new functions, and new industries constantly. You gain a very broad appreciation of the market. Not only are you developing critical business skills, you get to network with key individuals within each industry. This could allow you to seamlessly transition to an in-house role, much more smoothly than someone who's trying to break into the company without any connection or experience. If you like solving complex business problems and don't mind jumping to new projects every few months, this could be a great pathway for you. Next on our list of best jobs for the future is nurse practitioner, also referred to as advanced practice registered nurses. 2020 median pay is around $124,000 a year. In order to become a nurse practitioner, you must have at least a master's degree in your specialty role. For example, nurse midwife or pediatric nurse practitioner. You also must be a licensed registered nurse and also have an APRN license in the state that you want to practice in. With projected job growth of 45% for the next 10 years, this has the highest growth rate of all the jobs that we're covering here today. Today, there are slightly more than 270,000 nurse practitioners in the United States. With a 45% growth rate, this means we'll need close to 121,000 new nurse practitioners the next decade. That is pretty crazy if you think about it. And nurse practitioner is a pretty cool job. They can work independently or in collaboration with physicians. Also in most states, they can prescribe medications, order medical tests, and diagnose health problems. With increased demand for more healthcare providers in the future, nurse practitioners fill this crucial gap for patients that need medical attention. One major hurdle to being a nurse practitioner is that you not only need your nurse practitioner's degree, but you also need to be a licensed registered nurse. But if you're currently a nurse and you want to grow in your scope as well as your income, this is a great pathway to pursue. Number 6 best job for the future is finance manager. 2020 median pay is around $132,000 a year. In order to become a finance manager, you typically need a bachelor's degree in business, economics, or a related field, and also some experience in their business or financial occupation. They were often a financial analyst or an accountant in their previous job. It is expected to have a projected job growth of 17% for the next 10 years. With close to 700,000 finance managers in the United States, we can expect about 118,000 new finance manager positions to open up in the next decade. And I'm pretty familiar with this role, given I spent close to a decade in this and similar roles. The life of a finance manager revolves around crunching numbers. Most often, they're creating financial reports, developing plans for long-term financial goals, and advising top executives on strategies to maximize profit. I spent a good chunk of my time in board meetings reviewing financial performance and projections of organizations. To succeed in this role, it requires a combination of technical analytical skills as well as the ability to clearly communicate the findings to executive teams. Another nice part about this job is that it's one of the few occupations that translates well across different industries. Oftentimes, the financial projection methodology between industries don't change too much except the assumptions that are used in the inputs. So if you see yourself as a numbers guy, like the idea of running financial scenarios and advising senior leaders, this could be a pathway for you. Number 7 best job for the future is a close cousin to the finance manager, and that is an accountant. 2020 median pay is around $77,000 a year. In order to become an accountant, you typically need a bachelor's degree in accounting, as well as the completion of certification as a licensed certified public accountant. It's expected to have a projected job growth of 7% for the next 10 years. Though the growth rate isn't as large as some of the other jobs that we cover so far, given we currently have close to 1.4 million accountants here in the United States, a 7% growth means close to 100,000 new jobs for the next decade. And despite many people considering accounting as a boring field, they play a crucial role in pretty much all organizations, government, for-profit, and non-profit. Any organization that requires spending of money needs accountants to prepare and examine financial records. They're responsible for ensuring that the financial records are accurate and that the financial risks are evaluated and the taxes are paid properly. Without them, organizations and companies would have no idea if they're making money or losing money. And there are also many different variations of accountants. You could be a public accountant responsible for working with financial statements that corporations are required by law to disclose. Or you can be a forensic accountant, investigating financial crimes such as securities fraud and embezzlement. What I like about the role of accounting is that it is a good entry-level occupation that could function as a stepping stone for other higher-paying occupations such as financial executive or financial consulting. If you like adding numbers and want a stable career, you can't go wrong with accounting. Number 8 best job for the future is information security analyst. 2020 median pay is around $103,000 a year. In order to become an information security analyst, you typically need a bachelor's degree in computer science along with related work experience. Employers also look favorably upon analysts who have professional certifications related to information security. It is expected to have a projected job growth of 33% for the next 10 years. This translates to approximately 50,000 new jobs in the next decade, given we have about 141,000 IT security analysts currently. With technology playing bigger and bigger role in our society, so is the need to keep digital information secure. If you just Google IT security breach, it almost feels like every company out there has been hacked. Even technology companies like Facebook and Twitter are no exception. So information security analysts play a crucial role in planning and carrying out security measures to protect an organization's computer networks and systems. Given that technology is also evolving, this means these IT security analysts can't just stay still with their skill set. They must stay up to date on IT security and on the latest methods attackers are using to infiltrate computer systems. If you like the idea of being on the forefront of securing our digital data, this would be a great career for you. Number 9 best job for the future is a close brother of nurse practitioner, and this is a physician assistant, also known as PAs. The 2020 median pay is around $121,000 a year. In order to become a PA, you typically need a master's degree from an accredited educational program, and all states require PAs to be licensed. It is expected to have a projected job growth of 31% for the next 10 years. This translates to approximately 40,000 new jobs in the next decade, given we currently have about 129,000 PAs. PAs work closely with physicians in examining, diagnosing, and treating patients. You can find them in all areas of medicine, including primary care, emergency medicine, and surgery. I've been noticing that when I go in for my regular physical exams now, I'm most often seen by a PA rather than a physician. And unless I look at their name tag, I forget that I'm being examined by a PA. In a time when we have a shortage of healthcare workers, they play a crucial role in providing that necessary healthcare service to patients. If you're not already a nurse, but want to still pursue an advanced career in healthcare, this could be a great route to pursue. Selecting the right career path is crucial if you want to build wealth. The right career will act as your natural tailwind. If you or your child is to pursue any of the jobs that I mentioned so far, I'm confident their potential for career growth and thus income growth is limitless. This will allow you to save more, invest more, and achieve financial security sooner. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and comment below. It's my first video on career analysis, and if you enjoyed it, let me know so I can create more like it in the future.